me about Alta. Amazing.
Okay, everybody get your feeling out. Chapter 20. Lam Natsei and Mizmor David. Sorry, Sadel Hashem Eloheinu. Isha has 100 Kodesh, Mitzin, Sadaka. Ishkar Komen Chosecha Veilasana. Veilasaha Yedash Nasala. Iten Lecha Hilvavecha. V'chol Atzasacha Yemale. Let us rejoice in your salvation, Hashem. Ubashem Eloheinu Nidgel Yemale Adonai Kol Mishalei Secha. At Leodaiti Keishia Adonai Mashiach. Hashem saves his anointed one. Yanehu Mishmei Kodshei. Answering him from the highest heavens. The Gevureis Yeshu Yemine. Ele V'recha V'ele V'susim Anachnu B'Shem Adonai Eloheinu Nazgir. Hema Karu V'nafalu. V'anachnu Kamnu V'nis'eidad. We're standing strong. Adonai Yeshia Melech Yanei Levim Kareinu. Hashem is our King. He should deliver us, answer us on the day that we call. Chapter 4. We have learned extensively about the operation of the intellect, how an idea comes into your head like a spark, like a light. Someone turns on a light. This is Chachma. And then you think into it, and you develop it, and you analyze it, and you take possession of it. That's Bina. And they are like a mother and a father, and parents have children. So together they have Das. Das means knowledge. When a person knows something, he unites his mind with it. And as long as you're focused and you don't get distracted, then you're in touch with the idea. But when you get distracted, the idea goes away and you don't know where it went. So that's the function of Das. Das then channels this idea down into your heart, which is the place of your feelings. And the role of the feelings play themselves out like the 7 days of creation. First, I love it. I want to do it. This is something I could do. I can get into this. But I have to find out if there's a fee. Can I afford to study this profession? Do I have good teachers? So these are limitations. So chesed is the flow of my desire to do the thing because I love it. Chesed is love. Gevura is measuring it up. And then there's the blend of the two of them together, which is harmony, called Tiferes. Tiferes is beauty, is beautiful. The poet says beauty is truth, because something that's true is beautiful. So the real beauty is not superficial glitz. True beauty is modest. The beauty of the princess is something private. A beautiful person doesn't go around with no clothes on. They wear, on the contrary, they wear beautiful, distinguished clothes. And not necessarily for public. The Rebbe used to say, I heard the Rebbe say at least twice, in the summertime, the people who display themselves, it's as if they're making a statement to the world that they have nothing to offer the world other than their physical appearance. Whereas the Rebbetzin was very inward. Very few people saw her, and if people knew who she was, she wouldn't go back to that place. She preferred privacy. It didn't prevent her from doing great things in the world. So that is Tiferes. Tiferes is connected. So Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes are connected with Abraham and Yitzchak and Yaakov. Each one in their life displays these qualities. Just like the first 3 days of creation. Then we come to the lower, same thing repeating itself on a lower stage of the emotions, which is getting the job done. So to get the job done, you have to work very hard and apply yourself, and you need to concentrate. And you need to run and get everything that you need. Everything, and not finish the project and almost finish the project and found out you still need, I still need this, I still need that. And everything has to be done and ready. And then it comes, just like Gevura is the measuring and the sizing up of the whole project. So Hoid, which comes again down from Bina to Gevura to Hoid, down the left side, is cutting away. From the rough stone, you cut away all the rough parts and you just leave the facets, different faces of the diamond, which make it sparkle. So if Netzach is getting it done, Hoid is getting it done right. You understand the difference? So on the one side is love and restriction, and then it comes down is getting it done and getting it done right. And Hoid is remembering who's your audience. That's Tiferes. Reaching out, communicating. In human relationships and in business relationships and in your work, in your studies. And Malchus is the job done. Is your diploma, your ksuba. Okay, chapter 4, now we're moving on. So until now, we're learning about how the soul functions, the eternal values that make up the structure of the soul. Now we have to learn about the garments of the soul. Say a blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol nihiyah b'dvarei.
Amen.
Good. Chapter 4, page 76. But now, in addition to what we learned so far, yesh l'kol nefesh elokis, every godly soul has shloish elavushim. It's self-understood. If every godly soul has 3 garments, the animal soul also has 3 garments. So we have to be very selective about the garments that we choose to wear, the garments that are in our wardrobe. What are the 3 garments? They are shehem, machshava. Machshava is thought. Dibur, speech. Umaisa. A person doesn't say something they didn't think of before. I never said that, but you thought about it. And when someone put the squeeze on you, out it came. You blurted it out. Oh, I didn't mean that. Yes, you did. And since they are part of, these are garments of the godly soul, so they express, these 3 garments of thought, speech, and action express themselves through the 613 commandments. Explanation. How does this work? 1, 2, 3. Third paragraph, page 76. When a person is makayim, will fulfill the maisa, kol mitzvahs. Maisa is when a person will fulfill all the mitzvahs that require action. So he's doing them. ubedibur, and with speech. What does this mean in speech? Hu oisek bepeirush kol tariag mitzvahs. He's learning, he's speaking about, he's teaching, he's studying all the details of the 613 mitzvahs. You understand, Tariag is, probably most of you know what that means. Tariag is an abbreviation for 613. Tov is 400, Resh is 200, so that's 600, and Yud Gimel is 13. Tariag mitzvahs. So in speech, a person is teaching or learning together with a friend about all the details of the 613 mitzvahs, and the laws that define how these mitzvahs are to be fulfilled. Oh, b'machshava, so we have ma'isa, dibur, now machshava, and in thought, Masik, he understands. Understanding is the concept of bina, right? It's the left side of the brain. He understands kol masha efshalai, everything that's possible for him or her. Lahasig, to grasp. In the levels of Torah. And now he tells us about the 4 levels of Torah. Just like there are 4 worlds, there are 4 levels of Torah called the Garden of Torah. And they are Pshat is a simple meaning of the words. Remez is a hinted level of meaning of the words. Drush means the ethical lessons that we learn from the words. Not the simple meaning. It's not the story anymore. It's the lesson that we learn from the story. And Soid is the mystical inner workings of the halacha. Soid. Soid means, literally means foundation, but Soid refers to, it's often referred to by the term Kabbalah. It's a different set of principles explaining the inner mystical workings of everything. That's called Pardes, Pshat, Remez, Drush, and Soid. So we have 4 levels. Again, the concept of 4. Also, just like we learned, there are 4 elements, right? Fire, water, air, and earth. And we learned about 4 worlds. Atzilus, Bria, Yetzira, Asira, Asiya.
Do you mind repeating again what they mean?
I hear a question somewhere.
Do you mind repeating again what these words mean?
Repeat again what? Louder, please.
What the words mean, like Pshat, Remez, Drush.
What do they stand for?
Yeah.
Pshat means the simple meaning of the words. Like, you don't understand what this word means, I'll tell you the pshat. Pshat, the translation or the simple meaning of the words. Like, when is the time to say Kriya Shema in the morning? When is the time? That's something simple that has to be understood. The time is when the sun rises. What about dawn before the sun actually comes up? Well, if you can distinguish between the colors of green and blue, you can tell people are a little bit of a distance away from you. So then that's the time when you could say Kriya Shema, but the time for the mitzvah is when the sun actually shines, 7:01 this morning.
Remez.
Okay, so that's the pshat. The remez, what's a remez of this? That this is a hint of the creation of the world. Just like we're starting a new day, we're starting a whole new level of creation. And this reminds us of how Hashem creates the world from the first place. And it's happening all over again. In fact, it's happening all the time. Brand new. Creation brand new. And that's why in the morning a person feels a new surge of energy. You're up all night, you should be exhausted, and the sun comes up and you feel new energy. Why? Because Hashem is filling the world with new energy. So that the mitzvah of saying Kriya Shema in the morning is a hint of Hashem creating the whole world. And we see the sun rising, we see a hint displayed in front of us. We have to meditate on the greatness of Hashem. What is the greatness of Hashem? When the morning comes, Hashem displays his greatness. Everybody sees it. But that's the idea that saying Shema in the morning is a hint reminding us of Hashem's creating the whole world. Drush. What's a drush? A drush is an ethical lesson. What do we learn from saying Kriya Shema in the morning? We learn an ethical lesson in good behavior. That when I went to sleep last night, I was exhausted. Couldn't wait to get my head on the pillow and close my eyes and relax. And now I feel new energy. What does that teach us in ethics? It teaches us, where did your soul go overnight? Went back to its root in heaven. Went back to its spiritual root. You gave Hashem in your soul into his keeping, exhausted and worn out. And he gives it back to you renewed and refreshed. A new day and a new life. A new page in the chapter of your life begins. Okay. What do we learn from this? We learn from this that if you borrow a book from your girlfriend, from your friend, you want to read the book, you don't give it back to her with coffee stains and ripped pages. You have to, just like Hashem took care of your soul and gave it back to you in good condition, so you have a responsibility if you borrow something to return it in good condition. That's an ethical lesson. That's a drush. And Soid is the Kabbalah behind the whole thing. Which is a conjunction in spiritual terms of the sixth level of the 10 spheres with the seventh level. The conjunction of Yesod and Malchus. That's what's going on in the universe. Give you an example from this week's Parsha. We read 2 days ago about Yaakov bringing all of his family, wives and children and belongings. It seems an amazing story because he had, it seems like, an infinite number of sheep and goats and camels and everything. He has to cross the river Yabok, which is the border of Eretz Yisrael, and bring them from Syria into Eretz Yisrael. And he made himself like a human ferry, lifting and carrying, all night, carrying things across the river. And then he remembered he forgot something behind. He forgot something behind. He had to go back for it. Now we know you're not supposed to go back alone in the dark anywhere because it's very dangerous. And he goes back for some things that he forgot. And all of a sudden, a stranger shows up and grabs him and starts trying to kill him. And he grabs the stranger back, and they're wrestling though, and they wrestle the whole night. And the stranger is trying to throw him down, and he doesn't let it happen. I guess he was very strong. And in the morning, the stranger says, "Let me go." And he said, "No, I'm not going to let you go. I'm not going to let you go." He says, "But I have to go." He said, "Why? Why do you have to go? You have a meeting with the bank manager? Where do you have to go? Well, you're fighting with me the whole night. Now you have to go. Who are you?" He says, "I'm an angel. I'm not a human being. I'm an angel, and I have to go daven. I have to go daven." And the simple meaning of the story is that Yaakov says, he begs Yaakov to let him go. And he says, "I will only let you go if me. Give me your blessing. Give me your blessing." He says, "All right, I give you a blessing. What's your name?" He says, "Yaakov." He says, "Look, from now on, your name isn't going to be Yaakov. Your name is going to be Yisroel." Now, he doesn't lose the name of Yaakov. He continues to be known as with the name Yaakov. Unlike Avraham, Avram was Avram, and he became Avraham. And from that point on, no one calls Avram by name Avram, calls him Avraham. No one calls Sarah by the name Sarai. She became Sarah. But Yaakov remained Yaakov, and he added a deeper dimension to his name, which is Yisroel. What is the name Yisroel? Yisroel means, Yaakov means a heel. It's the lowest level of a person, symbolized by the heel. The heel doesn't feel. If you have a boiling hot mikveh, you don't put your head in, you put your heel in. And then the body can maybe go after as the water cools off. And Yaakov represents the lowest level of our involvement with things in the world, but they should be filled with holiness. We have to bring the Yud of Hashem's name into the heel of our lives. That's a symbolic level of meaning. A drush, or a remez. But there's more to come, because Yisroel, root of Yisroel, the word Yisroel, like the word, has two common letters with the name Sarah. Sarah means a ruler. A Tsar is a ruler, like in present-day Russia, the Tsar. In many languages, the word Tsar stands for a ruler, a prince, an aristocrat, a warrior. And so now you're going to be called Yisroel, and Sarah became not my princess, but a princess for the whole world. Sarah is for the whole world. Sarai is just for me. So Yaakov becomes Yisroel. He becomes a ruler because he fought Lavan. He fought the angel. He didn't say who the angel was yet. He fought against him, and he was victorious. So therefore, from now on, you're going to be called Yisroel, because you fought with mankind, you fought with people, Lavan, and you fought with the messengers, with spiritual messengers, with the angels of God, who were the guardian angel of Esau, who wants to kill you. And since Esau, this guardian angel, now gave Yaakov the blessing that he acknowledges his rulership, so he is agreeing to the blessings that Yaakov got from Esau, and no one can say that he stole them from Esau. Esau's guardian angel himself consented to these blessings because he had to go daven. Angels can't be late. You could come late to class. I could come late to class. Angels are not allowed to come late. But before he lets go, he touches him on his hip, his thigh, and his leg jumps out of the socket. You know, like you grabbed an electric wire, the leg jumps out of the socket, and he's in excruciating pain. The angel departs, and Yaakov goes limping on his way. It's the end of the night, so what happens at the end of the night? The sun rises. The drush about this, the Medrash tells us about this, that Avraham, when Hashem came to Avraham to heal him after his operation, he had an operation, major operation. He had a bris at the age of 99. And the angel came with a stone which had a healing power. And he gave this stone to Abraham. And when he left, he placed the stone in the sun. So if a person will gaze at the sun in the time of his illness, he'll feel better. And so the sun of healing rose and shone upon Yaakov and healed him in his pain. And that's the story. And now Yaakov goes on to confront his brother Esau. Esau comes to kill him with an army of 400 men, and each of those 400 men had 400 soldiers. And one by one, they all disappear. And the Medrash again tells us the story behind the story, that the angel, why did they disappear? Because angels who were now under the summons of Yaakov, they were under the control of Yaakov, were beating them up. They said, stop beating us. They said, you are the army of Esau. Hit them, knock them off. They said, but Esau is the son of Yitzchak. Doesn't matter. Knock him off. Kill him. He says, but he's the son of Abraham. Doesn't matter. He says, but he's the brother of Yaakov. Oh, he's the brother of Yaakov, so you're one of us. So when they saw they were fighting against angels, they all disappeared. They slipped away one by one, and eventually Esau, with his huge army, is all alone, confronting his brother Yaakov. And when Yaakov appears on the scene after a big to-do, Yaakov sends him a huge gift, and he appears and he runs at Yaakov to kill him, and leaps on him and grabs him by the neck, like that, and kisses him. Because since his guardian angel had blessed Yaakov, he couldn't do anything. At least not then. Now there's two versions. One, we see one version they teach the children is that all his teeth fell out. One version, he kissed him, but only half-heartedly. It was only a half a kiss. It was only half of his heart. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says, no, he kissed him with his whole heart. The Torah says he kissed him with his whole heart. And we learn that because there are dots over the letters. And the dots tell us that there's more going on here than meets the eye. Now, this whole thing is a hint. It's a remez. This whole story is a remez. What is it hinting of? We know the simple story. The Torah tells us the simple story of what happened. But there's a remez here. What is the remez? The remez is the night of our exile, which has been going on for 3,500 years. And during this night, we will have to fight against the adversary to us, which is the twin brother of Yaakov, which is Esau. And the dominant force throughout this period of time has been Rome. Rome comes as a descendant from Esau. For those of you who know a little bit more of history, Rome actually came from Troy. And Rome was established when King Solomon took idol-worshiping wives because he wanted to make the whole world holy, and he did something went a little bit too far. They did idol worship, and an angel was sent and stuck a staff into the earth by the Mediterranean, and gradually the land formed around this staff, and that made the boot of Italy. and Rome became the capital of Italy. And Rome comes from Esav, and Rome destroyed eventually the Beis Hamikdash. Rome destroyed the Beis Hamikdash, and we are in the exile, dominated by the culture and attitudes of Rome for the last 2,000 years. So this is a remez that during this long, long night of our exile, we will have to fight against the adversary of Rome, the descendants of Esau, with the twin brother of Yaakov. They were fighting from before they were born. And the fight continues, is prophetically described. When one is up, the other is down. When the other is up, the other is down. Until Moshiach comes, peace will be established between them. And we learn on the level of Soid, which is Kabbalah, that Esav stands for the tremendous, overwhelming energy of creation that shatters. It's too much to hold. And Yaakov stands for this energy as it stepped down to another level, to a lower level where it's stable. And the service of our years and during this night is to stabilize the overwhelming energies of the world, of the chaotic world before creation. There were worlds before creation took place that did not last. They shattered, and the sparks of these worlds came down into the sparks of holiness came down into this world, and we return them to their source in a stable mode by learning Torah and doing mitzvahs. And this is all symbolized in this struggle through the night of exile. And we will, and it's all prophecy. It's not just a story, it's all prophecy. That during this night, we will suffer affliction from the forces of that come from Esav, inquisitions and persecutions and pogroms and holocausts and so on. Yes, we have. It's all there. It's all there prophetically in this story of Yaakov wrestling with the angel. But in the end, the sun will rise with healing in its wings. And the Sefer HaChinuch, which describes all the mitzvahs, concludes with this note that this is the coming of Moshiach, who will bring healing to the world. Shiavo v'galenu b'mheira v'yameinu amen. Now we understand everything. Totally. Okay, almost everything. Well, a little. An ethical, what do you learn of ethics? What did Yaakov do? He went back to get these little jars. What did he forget? Why did he go back? Why did he do that? Because it says he forgot something. What did he forget? He forgot 2 little jars. What was in those jars? It's a good question. We'll talk about it tomorrow if you want. But what we learn from it is before you leave any place, you're ready to go, you pack your bags, you put them in the minivan, you're ready to come back from your summer at camp, go back into your bunk and check. Did you leave anything behind? Because anything that comes into your hands is by divine providence, that you should use it. It's a gift from God. You have to use it in a good way. And therefore you have a responsibility to everything that comes into your home, and you have to use it in a good way. That's an ethical lesson. You know what they say? A clean desk is a symbol of a clean mind. We have to keep our desks clean. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam bo nefashos rabos v'chesronan al kel masa barasa v'ahari v'spahem v'adosh b'hor v'yek hey haolamim. So you see, Tova, there's the actual picture, what actually happened, and there's a hinted picture, and there's a bigger picture, and they're all at the same time. One contains the other, like the rings of an onion. It's all the same onion. Thank you very much, everybody. You don't have to stand up. You see, and I'm walking around just like Yaakov, the angel touched Yaakov on the hip. I went to the doctor yesterday. What's with my hip? Yaakov will get an X-ray. What's sciatic is? I don't know what sciatic is. Sounds like a place in the country. Soft shirts.
Y este pues la brecha de aquí, entonces puedo ser más delgada y más despacio. Sí. Okay. No, I don't think so. He told me the old person who suggested.
You want to go downstairs on
Sure.
No, yo no tengo que ir aquí. Porque casi la
Let's just the gate.
Ah,
No, I'm not saying.
yeah, because it's cheapest. Really. It's expensive. Really? Then the second one?
Large one.
Thank you so much.
Be right back.